So, folks, we have to talk about Representative Max Miller of Ohio and the allegations against him from his ex-wife. Now, we did talk about this in some detail just the other day, but he has gone and done a full interview on CNN with Jake Tapper, and we are going to go over that because it's kind of astounding. Like, he's accused of allegedly, abusing his 2-year-old daughter, accused by his ex-wife of beating her head against a wall, putting a gun against her temple, like truly heinous and disturbing stuff. Seriously, there's one of her stories and one of her accusations is that he threw boiling water on her, and she is worth noting, the daughter of Bernie Moreno, another member of Congress. So we're gonna jump in and take a look at this interview because he put out a statement the other day that we went over, and it was extremely unconvincing, to say the least. Like, his statement was essentially, if I had abused my wife, would she have cooked me dinner? Yeah, that's a very common thing for victims of abuse to do, actually, yeah. So, we're gonna jump into this interview and see how he does. Spoiler, I haven't seen the whole thing, but he does terribly. So let's check it out.
Now to discuss Ohio Republican Congressman Max Miller. He's joining us from Los Angeles, where President Trump will touch down this evening. So, Congressman, let's start there with your former father-in-law's story today about your daughter and the little blue bunny doll that she cannot sleep without. If it's true, that sounds like emotionally abusive behavior toward a toddler to refuse to give it to her when she can't sleep without it.
Jake, I would agree that if that were true, that would be incredibly disturbing and that the senator would be right. However, he has taken 2 years to publicly acknowledge for me to resign from my seat. Why is that, Jake?
Yes, this is Representative Max Miller, who is, to be honest, inexplicably going out and doing an interview right now.
If he truly believed, like, I'm a father to a 2.5-year-old daughter, I believe that you're also a father to children. And I don't know if you're actually a father to a daughter. But
what's wild about this, and Verdant Eclipse, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs, appreciated. But what's wild about this is, again, like, trying to build rapport in an interview when, like, the journalist you're talking to is well aware that there are allegations you shook your daughter so hard that it broke her collarbone at 2 years old. This is not going to go well for him.
What I can tell you is, well, Jake, then what I can tell you is that if my daughter came to me and she said, my ex-husband did X, Y, and Z, and then I waited because I was nervous that a political live stream was going to expose a deeply impersonal, embarrassing matter to the senator, for him to take that action. Sadly, this has nothing to do with my daughter, Jake, and that's what this entire thing is about.
Well, so this is interesting because, one, we did talk about this the other day, which is that in texts that were obtained by Mother Jones, Max Miller made this exact same threat to Bernie Moreno. And it might have something to do with the fact that there was an account on Adult Friend Finder back in 2008 that is linked to Bernie Moreno's professional account. And in that account, it was looking for young men looking to travel the country. Right? So Bernie Moreno, like what might be getting alleged here is that effectively on national television, Representative Max Miller seems like he's blackmailing Bernie Moreno. And, like, what's very interesting here is that Max Miller thinks that making this threat in public makes him look better and not guilty, when, like, his argument here is actually, if I had been abusive, let's actually let him make that point again here.
X, Y, and Z. And then I waited because I was nervous that a political live stream was going to expose a deeply impersonal, embarrassing matter to the senator, for him to take that action. Sadly, this has nothing to do with my daughter, Jake, and that's what
he's trying to put forward a situation where, like, in this situation, he's Bernie Moreno, and like he hears from his daughter that her ex-husband was wildly abusive, and rather than speak out, he doesn't say anything, right? Because he's more worried about getting outed, like, for whatever. But Max Miller doesn't seem to realize that by making this comparison, like, validating that, one, he's doing some kind of blackmail or intimidation, like, to a member of Congress, which is very, very stupid. And two, he seems to think that this makes him look less guilty. It makes him look more guilty, because by reiterating the threat live on national television, it makes it, like, it validates the intimidation. It makes it more obvious that he's an abusive piece of shit. Like, this is a terrible idea. Like, dog, your lawyer right off screen here is like gonna kill himself, man. Like, you fucked yourself. And we're less than a minute into a 22-minute long interview. How did you dig yourself this deep already?
this entire thing is about. This is nothing more than an individual who's being
Peepo and Sons would never defend this sack of shit.
Politically vindictive and talking about a blue bunny when I have text messages I can show you from our parent coordinator, who is a mandatory court reporter, who said that Mr. Moreno would be coming over my home, and then another individual came who I don't know.
Well, first of all, Congressman, you're faulting him for both not saying anything for 2 years and for saying something in the last 2 days.
Well, that's because, Jake,
it's possible that he didn't say anything because his daughter didn't want him to say anything, because he didn't want this to become any more of a spectacle than it's become.
Which is a very reasonable thing for Jake Tapper to bring up. Like, I have a lot of problems with Jake Tapper, just generally, but, like, I think he does a pretty good job in this interview. And also, the fact that Max Miller just is like, well, would these bureaucrats who are here to oversee a bitter divorce, what are you not going to ask them questions about how Bernie Moreno said he would come to my house and then somebody else came to my house? And it's just like, that's the pettiest bullshit to try and, like, sidetrack the conversation away from the allegations against you that I've ever seen in my life.
You could say that, but also dealing with this in a private family matter, then why couldn't have we had a conversation a year ago? If Mr. Moreno felt this was the case, why do we now have to be here on national TV exposing all of our personal family drama? Why didn't he?
Well, probably because he thought that you were the kind of person who would throw boiling water on his daughter and hold a gun to her head. It's probably something that would kind of preclude interacting with you in a more civilized manner.
Come to me and say, Max, I don't believe privately that you should be in the United States Congress and that you need to look for a pathway out, and I do believe my daughter.
I don't know, but it's not really the issue, though.
That isn't really the issue. The issue is, did you abuse his daughter? Like the issue is, did you actually do the abuse? The issue isn't, why didn't Bernie Moreno come to me, a man who his daughter has accused of beating her and their 2-year-old child? Why didn't he come to me and ask me politely to leave Congress? Like, what are you talking about, dog?
Right? The issue is, the one I asked you about is, did you hold this doll hostage? Because that is emotionally abusive behavior.
Mr. Tapper, no. And just to further more than that, there have been 2 investigations that have already been looked into me. And I would like to just have a little bit of moment to explain. The first investigation that was looked into me was that my ex-wife, Emily Moreno, filed a report of child abuse against me. That first incident, 2 individuals were held liable for abusing my daughter at a daycare, which I have a private settlement agreement from. I was found not guilty. They looked at my fingerprints. They made me take off my shirt. They made me look at my body to make sure that I didn't abuse my daughter. And that was number 1, Mr. Tapper. Number 2,
we need to back this up. Like, how is he, like, this makes him look like guilty as sin.
at my body to looked at. I have a private settlement agreement. Individuals were held liable for abusing my daughter at a daycare, which I have a private settlement agreement from. I was found not guilty.
I gotta be honest. The thing is, maybe when you are the being accused of abuse here, the best solution and way to address that might not be a daycare thought I was abusing my daughter and investigated me for that. Like, that kind of seems, to an outside observer, pretty weird, because most people aren't both the subject of allegations that they broke their daughter's collarbone and put a gun to their wife's head, and also getting investigated by allegations from a daycare at the same time. So that's weird that you would try and go this route, I guess, is all I'm saying.
They looked at my fingerprints. They made me take off my shirt. They made me look at my body to make sure that I didn't abuse my daughter. And that was number one, Mr. Tapper. Number two, when I was reported for child abuse for my daughter for a broken collarbone, my daughter was in my ex-wife's care 9 out of the last 11 days, and she took her to the emergency room, which is a contempt violation from our shared parenting plan. Furthermore than that,
when my wife took our daughter to the emergency room for a broken collarbone, technically my daughter was in her care, and it is a violation of our I'm sorry, bringing your daughter to the emergency room for a broken bone is a violation of your shared parenting plan? I gotta be honest. Number one, this kind of seems to me like he's admitting the allegations are true. And number two, if you have to fall back on, well, yeah, my daughter's collarbone was broken, but my wife broke our parenting agreement by bringing our daughter with a broken collarbone to the hospital, that sounds terrible. Like, that's... I have to be clear, from a legal perspective, all of these are still allegations. But if you wanted the allegations to seem less true, as opposed to more true, this is not the way to go about it. It's making Max Miller look incredibly guilty.
Mr. Tapper, is this.
Yeah, my wife broke our agreement by seeking medical attention for our child is an insane argument to make.
These matters have already been looked into. Ms. Moreno has already gone to the police. The police are not investigating it. Ask yourself, why aren't they investigating these things? You see yourself, I am not getting any special treatment. I have never done these things. These things have already been investigated. Yeah. I have no police reports looked into me, and we actually have evidence.
I've had no police look into me. Yeah, but, worth noting that the, House Ethics Committee has opened an investigation into the allegations. So, this is not gonna go away. It also doesn't make him look better. I do think that he thinks he's way smarter than he is. I do think he's one of those guys who thinks that he is, one step ahead of everybody. He thinks he's really fucking smart. Oh, he requested an ethics investigation into himself. Well, yeah, because he knew he was going to get investigated. Because this all blew up just a couple days ago. You requested it because you knew it was coming. Yeah, not a normal thing to say at all.
Unlike the other side. And so, it's an honor for me to have a platform like this to continue to fight and to continue to show the American people that I've already been looked into. Right. I'm happy to be looked into again.
Is there anything that your ex-wife or your former father-in-law, Senator Moreno, say about you that is true? I mean, Senator Moreno said on Sunday that you have admitted privately that you need to get help.
This is the unfortunate part about this business, Jake, is that He's never told me that, and that's an extreme projection. There's only one person between myself and Emily Moreno who's been actually diagnosed with a medical condition.
But have you ever said
and
that?
That's not me. Yes, and I have it in her own words, and
but
you
have
can
you
listen
said
to
it? Have you ever said that you need to get help, that you need to see a counselor?
No, not to him, no.
No, to anyone. Have you said it to Emily?
Oh, well, Jake, I think a lot of people within this country see a therapist. I've been seeing a therapist over the last decade of my life. This isn't anything new. I don't know why this would be any more important than anything else. I think it's healthy to talk to somebody and to share what's going on with.
Yeah, the issue isn't that you go to therapy, my guy. That's not what people are acting like you're weird for doing. It's literally everything else. It's so horrific.
Isn't the guy to the left the guy who crashed out after a candidate called Trump a pedo, aka just stating the truth?
I don't know. Honestly, like, that would describe too many people in mainstream media, but genuinely have no idea.
Within your life and to work through problems. I don't look at this as a negative thing for someone to seek therapy, to go through something. And
agreed.
Yes, Jake, I've been seeking therapy for the last 10 years of my life.
Okay.
And I'm proud and honored to admit that.
When you did your live stream on Twitter or X on Sunday, you said you were doing so to protect your daughter. And you did so, and you also released a Dropbox on X with files involving your family to show that you were a good dad. Now, one of the files was an image of your daughter naked. And
this is something that came to light just over the last day, which is that in an effort to prove himself innocent, he dropped a naked image of his 2-year-old daughter, and I gotta be honest, it's really, really fucked up that he's trying to prove his innocence and in the process it endangers his daughter, which is really fucked up, and also, incredibly damning for his case that he's trying to make. Obviously. He didn't care enough to make sure that wasn't in there. Wait, but he's a parent? Yet the problem is, he's distributing that material to the entire internet.
it was available in that Dropbox for a day before that photograph was removed. It's an image that your ex-wife's attorney says could qualify as child sexual abuse material. Your attorney has said that he is the one who did that, and he apologizes. But it is shockingly reckless behavior by you and your team.
I wouldn't say that it's shockingly reckless. That photo that was put...
I gotta be honest. I have to be honest. If you were truly innocent in this situation, and your lawyer just posted what could reasonably be constituted, considered child sexual abuse material of your daughter onto the internet, and left it up for a full day, and you're a member of Congress, I would consider that reckless. And your lawyer ass should be out on the street. You should be nowhere near a parent who actually gives a shit about their child. If this happened, would immediately yeet those lawyers. Immediately. Instead, he's defending them.
In there is actually a part of an investigation by the Child and Family Protective Services, and that is already public knowledge that people can go and they can look through court-reported mandates. This is being...
I gotta be completely honest with you. I think he's lying very hard here. I don't think you can just go into publicly open court records and find naked pictures of children. I don't think you can actually do that. And if you can, that is frankly insane and should be immediately rectified.
Being taken very much out of context. There was no genitalia of my daughter that was exposed, and this is once again a very salacious headline.
It's not
publicly
available. We called the court today.
He is just straight up lying. Jake Tapper did his due diligence. Good job, Jake.
It's not publicly available,
but
your attorney apologized.
I'm not defending it. It's awful. I
you
don't
just
like
defended it. You said it was taken out of context.
Well,
Yeah, you just spent the last couple sentences defending it and saying it wasn't it wasn't irresponsible.
It is taken out of context in terms of how the articles have been written about it. I didn't do this. My attorney took full responsibility. I believe that it's awful. There was never any intent to do that. What I did on Sunday, okay, Jake, I went on CNN with Lauren Fox for a 45-minute interview about a month ago.
Right.
And
we
only
ran some of it.
Right. You ran some of it, but only 6 minutes of that interview was played.
That's how TV works.
I know, Jake, but here's the deal, okay? She asked me a question, and she asked me a very, laced question and said, your ex-father-in-law and your ex-wife say that your daughter is terrified to go to your home. Every single time they say she's terrified. I then played Lauren Fox 3 separate audio videos, of my daughter saying, I do not want to go to mommy's, I do not want mommy's, and I do not feel safe. None of that made it out there.
You realize how that has nothing to do with the allegations against you. That's not relevant to the allegations against you that you got on camera your 2-year-old daughter to say 3 different things out of context.
Why?
Because it was recorded without her permission, is my understanding of it.
No, it's a one-party consent in the state of Ohio.
That's not at all the point. If you're being interviewed and they're like, hey, you recorded these things without permission, and your response is, well, it's a one-party consent state, which just means, yeah, you didn't get permission. Like, you're not disproving them, you're just saying you can't be held legally liable, or criminally liable for making those recordings, which is not, in fact, the same thing as getting consent to record things.
And this is what I've had to do in order to get my truth out. I mean, you could say this is what the media does. They take a 45-minute interview and they...
No one cares? I mean, I think people care. I think people care if a member of Congress, is breaking 2-year-olds' bones and, trying to shoot their wife. I think people care about that, generally.
Clip it to 6 minutes of what they want the American people to see. That's why I did the live stream to lay everything out,
but
and I'm not hiding.
Congressman, I'm not talking about whether or not it was legal or illegal to record your ex-wife. I'm saying...
Jake Tapper, you're so bad at covering issues like Gaza and student protests on campuses. But now when you actually try, look at you go. Look at you go.
That the reason we didn't air it is because it was our understanding that the recording was done without her permission. That's something else. That's discretion. That's journalism. That's not a question of legality. But let's talk about it, because there is a police report from the suspected child abuse incident in February involving your daughter, and that report details that the child protection team says that your child had a right clavicle fracture and, quote, a bruise that accompanies the injury that appears to be in a handprint and appears to have been inflicted, unquote. Now, your ex-wife stated...
I'm sorry, you thought that people looking into the police material was going to, exonerate you on this one?
The police that your child told her in the days leading up to the discovery of the injury, quote, "Daddy, kill you." And your ex-wife also said your child had said, "Daddy angry and Daddy's house is scary." Now, according to your wife, your daughter articulated these statements to Children and Family Services. So can you explain why your child may have said those things?
Jake, I wish you could talk to my beautiful baby girl. She can't string together sentences like that. She's 2.5 years old. She doesn't have...
You literally just talked about making recordings of her saying phrases and things along those lines. And also, 2.5-year-olds can absolutely talk.
The ability to articulate any of what you just said. That is an entire fabrication of the truth. I have actual video, actual documentation.
But didn't you just tell me that
through two investigations.
You just told me that she had said that she was scared to go to Mommy's house.
She is, and I have video of it.
But now you're saying that she's not capable of saying, "Daddy, kill you"? I mean, it seems like she's either able to say one but not the other.
Jake,
that doesn't make sense.
Jake, to be very direct, this is incredibly disturbing. I am not going to my child to say, Daddy, kill you. You have to look at the timing of everything that is taking place, right? What about due process? I have already been through these investigations, and I know that I've said that.
Yeah, just as an FYI, the average development of language is that within like the first year and some change, like kids learn how to say like basic names like mama, dada, stuff like that. After another year of language development, they can absolutely string a few words together to convey concepts.
Now 3 times, and we're kind of just blowing past this, but these are individuals who do their jobs to protect kids. And the main job of the court and the main job of Child Protective Family Services and the main job of our judge who has been appointed to our divorce case is to make sure that our daughter is safe. And every single one of those individuals has agreed with me. I have full shared parenting. I still have full medical parenting, half. I still have full half education. If any of these things were true, Jake, a judge would have taken our baby girl out of my hands. What you have is a very sadly politically motivated scenario to where, people want to see me go away. And all of this happened, and I'm not joking. Yeah. Take it for what you want. Look, this live stream, yeah. The impetus for the resignation, okay, came because an individual thought something was going to be said on that live stream that I had no intention of saying.
Here's the thing. You're talking about a level of standard of proof that has to do with judges, and there is separately a different level when it comes to what kind of behavior is tolerated among public officials, because there are now 3 women who have accused you of violent behavior.
Yeah, this is news to me, which is that apparently he now has not just allegations from his ex-wife and 2-year-old daughter, but also 3 additional women came forward with allegations of abusive behavior from Max Miller.
Politico published a report in 2021 that says when you were in high school, you, quote, pushed a girl out of the dorm of his room and she fell down some stairs after he became enraged when she resisted his attempts to touch her, according to 3 people who were there and many more who heard about the incident in the aftermath. Now, you did not...
Like, dog pushed a girl downstairs.
Deny that, but the woman in question told Mother Jones reporter Abby Vasulis just days ago that it happened and was, quote, one of the more traumatic nights of her life.
Well,
now,
I would love...
No,
for that individual to go on the record because that.
Okay.
I was
hold on, because I'm not done with the list of women that have accused you of violence. Then there is former White House press secretary. Okay, you were young.
That's 13 years old. That doesn't. Like, I'm sorry. If you're in college, you're grown. You don't get to use the excuse of I was young and ignorant. I didn't know any better. I didn't know I shouldn't push people downstairs at that point in my life. Like, shut the fuck up. Oh, it was just so long ago. I couldn't possibly be bothered to know that it was wrong to push people downstairs in a fit of rage.
And there's a former White House press secretary, Stephanie Grisham, who was your ex-girlfriend. She accused you of being abusive and having a violent streak. She wrote in her book, quote, I could do nothing right by him. I would wake up every morning shaking with anxiety about his mood that day. I had seen his temper before and it had scared me, unquote. She has recently filed a temporary restraining order against you in a defamation case. And now there are these claims from your ex-wife, Emily Marino. And I guess the question is, are all 3 of these women who don't know...
Oh, sorry, not 2 additional women.
...each other, are all 3 of them lying?
Yes, it's very easy, and I can tell you why. Every single time, and people have asked me, what are you going to do? Are you going to drop out?
Yes, all the women be lying. The woman from college, the woman from politics, the woman he was married to, the baby girl that he allegedly broke a collarbone on. They're all just lying, of course. They're all in it together. They're in cahoots.
Of this race, are you going to resign? Are you going to get out before the deadline? And my answer to you, Jake, is no. And I can tell you why. In 2016, when President Donald J. Trump faced the most extreme allegations in the world that hit him day after day after day, and people in the media, very much like yourself.
Oh God, he's trying to pull a goddamn Donald Trump. You don't got the cult of personality, bud.
And others said that he would have no shot at winning, that he should not be the president of the United States. But guess what? He stayed in and he was resilient. And what the American people can see is that they can see that somebody is fighting who is resilient, and that is a quality that the American people cherish.
Allegations, Trump admitted it on camera. He did. You know, Donald Trump talked about sexually assaulting women on camera. And what he's doing here isn't so much now trying to argue his innocence. He's trying to say, I'm like Trump, because his main concern at the moment isn't even looking like he didn't do it. His concern is shoring up Republicans in the base by painting himself and Trump as the same person.
Trump threw a gal downstairs. His ex-wife. She got poisoned on the way down.
I feel like you're making a joke, but I don't understand the joke. But thank you for the $5 super chat.
And so for no second am I going to sit here and continue to be debased by false and baseless allegations and be pushed out of a seat I have worked so hard to represent and done a terrific job for our community. You know, my record in Congress on the Ways and Means and House Foreign Affairs and bringing back money for our district.
Right.
Yeah, but notice how you ran all the way away from any of the allegations against you here to talk about how, you know, really the media is lying, and also I've done a lot of really great things, which isn't really relevant to whether or not you threw boiling water on your ex-wife.
Right. And standing up for the Ukrainian people and also voting to protect Obamacare during this entire time. This is why no one's attacking me on my policy, Jake, because they can't. I've been a good legislator.
Yeah, but you're not here to do an interview about your brilliant policy making.
What they're trying to do is create rumor mills without evidence. It's all hearsay. All hearsay.
Do you realize it's not hearsay if it is firsthand testimony from women, and I just named 3 people that are providing firsthand testimony. That's not hearsay. But do you realize what it is in terms of how tall a order it is for voters and your colleagues and everybody watching right now to believe that 3 women who don't know each other made up accusations of you being violent, and you are telling the truth here? They are lying. That is a difficult thing for people to believe, right?
No, not in this
No, I'm just such a stand-up guy.
instance, because every single one of these things that you're brought up, unlike other candidates throughout the country, I've already had investigations into. The domestic abuse allegation that you're referring to against my ex-wife, Department of Child and Family Services already reviewed that, and they viewed that nothing happened. Bay Village Police Department, Miss Moreno filed the police report. The prosecutor looked at it. They looked at it for a very long time. There was nothing there. My case is much different than everyone else that has been laid out before. Yes, I have tangible evidence, and I have also had investigations that have cleared me of every single thing you have mentioned,
except,
to be clear.
Let's talk about this, because in the custody lawsuit, there was a discovery phase. And Emily Marino's lawyers asked you a series of questions about past alleged incidents. And some of them you denied outright. No, that's not true. No, that's not true. And others you refused to answer at all. Your lawyers claimed they were not relevant. And the ones you didn't answer include the incident involving the stairs or your past alleged drug use. If you ever referred to the birth of your child as, quote, setting your playground on fire. If you were ever kicked out of college. You wouldn't answer them. I can tell you that I never did any of those things. Why can't you?
Because
holy shit. Yeah, Lady Raincloud, I'm right there with you. Like, fuck Jake Tapper, but honestly, he's doing great. He's doing great, baby girl. You keep doing what you're doing, but then bring this energy to, other topics.
Well, Jake, if you're wondering, I'm happy to answer those questions.
I should say I have smoked marijuana.
Right.
I'm sorry, I take that back. I have smoked pot before it was legal. So,
Jake, stop it, you bad boy, you. Stop it, Jake. Pretty soon you're gonna put on a baseball cap and turn it backwards, you rogue.
Okay, I'm getting it all out on the table.
Yeah, and that's great. So have I, and I don't think, previously when I was younger or even, a few years ago, there's anything wrong with cannabis uses. It's legal in 39 out of 50 states in the country.
In the Mother Jones story, it said when you were picked up for the drunk driving, you had ecstasy in your system.
Look.
Oh, that's a little bit different, though, isn't it? Oh, my God. Jake, it makes me madder at Jake Tapper in retrospect to know that he had this kind of interviewing skill and he wasted it so fucking often over like the last the last several decades. Like, however long he's been in this job. He's been like trying to go after like college kids protesting genocides. And like, dude, use your powers for good instead of evil, man. Like, you're doing so much better here. We can all root for you.
Once again, these are already investigations, and we're bringing up things from 15 to 20 years ago.
But why wouldn't you answer those questions in Discovery? Why wouldn't you answer the questions about whether or not you would push that girl down the stairs?
Well, because it never happened. Why would I give something credibility and answer for something that...
You could just say no. For example, you could just deny the thing. Like, you're being investigated. Like, in this situation, you're being investigated for whether or not you're a fit parent to raise a child. Why would you answer it honestly? Like, because you should answer those questions honestly.
That never happened.
But you did that for other questions.
But this woman isn't even coming forward. I don't know who you're referencing. Unless these people actually put a name to these allegations and come forward, I don't know how the American people can continue to believe things.
I mean, 2 of them are named.
Things like this.
When's the last time you ever used illegal drugs?
Illegal drugs?
Yes, because you're being investigated right now by the House Ethics Committee.
The last time, I would have to say, the last time I had illegal drugs would have been, I don't know, several years ago. I mean, I don't have a time.
I have to be honest, I do not believe him.
Frame on it, but I don't use illegal drugs. No, Jake, this is what they're doing, okay? This whole, needles thing.
Like, he knows that if he answers that anywhere remotely near honestly, he's fucked. And as a result of this ethics committee investigation.
This is testosterone replacement therapy. People are painting this as something that it's not. Secretary Hegseth, who is...
I'm sorry, he's illegally taking testosterone? Why does it always boil down to, like, these insecure man babies in the Republican movement need gender-affirming care for their cisgender asses? And it's but they dedicate like their entire political existence to like, making sure trans people can't get gender affirming care. It's crazy. Also, again, the fact that he's admitting to illegally taking testosterone is crazy. When he's being investigated, specifically part of it is for illegal drug use.
The Secretary of War just 3 weeks ago allowed our entire military, who are males, to take testosterone replacement therapy. That's what I was...
But, the females, though, you don't get the testosterone therapy. It's only for the boys. It's only for the boys. Let's hear it for the boys. Which, by the way, should include trans men.
If they didn't have double standards, they'd have no standards at all.
It's true.
I have not been...
I mean, I think it's pretty clear that Max Miller proves they have no standards at all.
Using any illegal drugs. This is nonsense, and this is much more of how Mr. Moreno and and my ex-wife are continuing to put this stuff out there.
Well, I think it's because I think it's because there are 3 women I think it's because there are 3 women that have alleged violence. I don't think any of this is actually about illegal drugs at all. I think it's because 3 women have alleged violent behavior by you, and 2 of them are fairly high.
Yeah, frankly, no one would give a shit, and it wouldn't matter if he had done illegal drugs. It only matters now because he's being investigated for abusing women.
Profile on the record women.
But Jake, once again, the one part that I am never going to back down from and that the American people need to continue to look at is number one, I have had 2 full investigations that lasted almost a year into these child abuse allegations and into these domestic abuse allegations, okay? And I have.
You say
and
you'll
I have
never
been
back
cleared
down
that.
from it, but you sued Stephanie Grisham for defamation, and then you back down from that suit, right?
I will never back down, except for that one time.
No, that's not true. There was a settlement agreement. And so I would love to talk to you about that, but I can't. And so, but I didn't back down from that. And it was settled. And there's a reason for that. And that's all I can say regarding it.
Let me ask you.
But if you're asking, sorry.
You spoke with the president yesterday. Did he tell you what he is telling aides?
I saw he's grasping at straws, but even the straws nope the fuck out of there.
That's true.
Privately, that he does not think you can win.
Look, the conversation I had with him yesterday at 9 a.m., and I've gotten a million phone calls about this, and this is what's so troubling. Look, he called me and he said, Maxie, it's going to be a tough race. And he said, I don't know if you're going to be able to, pull this one out. And you know what, Jake? I reminded him of the same resilience that he had when people told him that he was going to struggle in 2016 and he became the 45th president of the United States. And I have the utmost confidence that my constituents back home know me. This race is a home race. This isn't about what the national media thinks. This isn't about what people in California or New York or Florida think about what goes on in Ohio 7.
I mean, do you think the people in Ohio 7 don't care if you are the kind of man who would break a child's collarbone? Because I think people generally care about that.
What you're going to see here, Jake, is that I am going to be successful in this November because my constituents know who I am, and they also know who my ex-father-in-law is, and they also know who my ex-wife is. And that's why you've seen people aren't running from me. My numbers in fundraising are strong. Speaker Mike Johnson, everyone else, they're standing behind me. No one has told me to get off the ballot, and that's because they know I can win this seat and see this through. And that's what we're going to do. You know what? That is a question, Jake, I have been struggling with, over the last couple of weeks. But I'm going to look at you the same way I think you would look at me if you were in my shoes, which is I am never going to give up. And what I mean by that is my daughter's going to grow up one day, and she's going to see all of this. And she's not going to see that her father caved to political and social media pressures for something that he never did. And furthermore than that, there are more than 50% of the people within this country who are divorced. And men get a really bad shake when it comes to family court. And
unfortunately, this might actually play well with a certain demographic in the Republican Party.
He just keeps saying and doing all the things abusers do and acting like we're crazy for putting the pieces together.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's gaslighting on an industrial level, right? He's playing for sympathy at the moment. He's trying to do the men's rights activism thing, which is oh yeah, family court is always so skewed against men, yada yada yada. He's going after the divorced dad demographic within MAGA, which is a very large contingent.
it's not addressed enough in any way possible. And so here's what I can tell you is that I've received more support than ever from our community, from the people where I live. And that is why we are going to stay in this race and be successful.
Oh, Jazz Dog, that is a solid prediction. Crowder interviews him live in studio. It's like a week away.
And you're right. The allegations, they're incredibly troubling. I agree they're troubling. But if they were true, I'd be in prison. And there's the only reason out of myself and other Republican...
I mean, that's not true at all. There are plenty of abusive pieces of shit who never see the inside of a prison cell. Also, you're a member of Congress. It provides you a certain level of protection against legal, consequences.
Colleagues, that I'm the only one that doesn't have an active investigation into it. And so at the end of the day, I let the truth speak for itself, and the truth is right there. And I will never, ever, ever let my baby girl see her dad walk away as a quitter. I will continue to finish this, and if I have to run all the way to the end and I'm not successful, Jake, then that's a decision that I decide to make, and I can hold my head way up high knowing that I fought for the truth no matter what circumstances and no matter what came my way every single day, that Ruthie Miller will know that she's proud of her dad who bears my last name. Well,
I think there's supposed to be audio from Jake Tapper here, but this is weird.
right. And all I can tell you is this, Jake, is that I hope that you and the rest of the media do the same amount of digging as you are into me, as you will into those other two. Because as you can see right now, and I understand I'm the member of Congress, so deservedly so, the spotlight, the attention, the media. But throughout this process objectively, how come people aren't asking the tough questions out of them? I mean, it's been a free runway of just me being a punching bag without articulating my points and presenting the evidence that we have here today and others.
I mean, the allegations are against you. They're the ones making the allegations. You have yet to disprove any of them.
Men aren't treated fairly in family courts. Fact, no, they aren't. Cope harder. Also, my very abusive sperm donor got away with it.
Yeah, there are plenty of abusive pieces of shit who get away with being abusive pieces of shit. It's awful. And also, yeah, statistically, there isn't like this rampant abuse of like the family court system, you know, that like is prejudiced against men. As far as I'm aware, I haven't seen any convincing arguments to that effect. Excellent point, E.P. Sapphic.
Well, Jake, I got to tell you, in this country, due process is a thing, and everyone is entitled to it. And once again, I have been absolved of these claims that you continuously are bringing back up, especially the most recent one with Miss Moreno. Once again, the Department of Child and Family Services and Bay Village Police Department took her report. They investigated everything that she said, both the Bay Village Police Department and both Child and Family Services. And you can see right now, I'm not getting any special treatment, Jake. So if I really did those things, why wouldn't I be in prison? It's because it's an extreme fabrication of the truth. And you look, at the end of the day, I'm going to continue to push. I am going to win this race. And my daughter will see that her father is going to be back in there. And then when we come back next term, my hope is you and I can have other conversations that will be a lot better than this about how we can move our country forward.
That dude did not convince me that he is a wholesome father figure. He very much failed in that regard. I will say Q-Berry Shortcake in Riverboat chat is correct. The statistic about men getting the kids less often is skewed because men often state they don't want the children. Yeah, 100%. I want to unlearn this. Please finish this segment. That's fair. This guy sucks. And the more I see him, the more convinced of him sucking I become. Now, I can't definitively say that this guy did it. That would be irresponsible of me. But I will say, if that interview was designed to make people think he is a wrongly accused innocent man who just loves his country and is loyal to Donald Trump, it didn't work in the way he intended. And instead, it just kind of makes him look obscenely guilty, might be the phrase that I would choose. It makes him look that way. I can't definitively say, for legal reasons, that it makes him, that he definitely did any of these things, but it certainly makes him look guilty as hell. So anyway, folks, if you want to get organized and create a political movement that doesn't tolerate people who are this bad at doing interviews, join your local Dems, join your local DSA, and get involved organizing today. If you need help making it to your first meeting, join our Discord, reach out to GamerG for help with DSA, reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems, and folks, go check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is comfortable, sexy, non-tucking lingerie. Go check it out. ImogeneOlivia.com. Link down in the doobly-doo. And last but not least, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Comments really help in the algorithm. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, gaming, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.